As you know, in our bias series, we're almost always more interested in what's the solution. How can we solve this? What are the fixes? So there are three moves. Number one, test your pessimistic predictions against actual evidence, not against your fear. Every time pessimism bias generates a negative prediction, treat it as hypothesis. Don't treat it as a law. Don't treat it as a fact. Ask the question, what actual evidence supports this prediction? Has this specific outcome occurred before in my specific situation, or am I projecting a fear onto an untested future, onto something that I've not tested? Am I transmogrifying or transplanting, especially transplanting a problem I had with another person into the one I have now? Yeah, these are very important questions you must ask. The designer who fears clients will leave when she raises her prices, has she actually raised her prices and measured the response, or is she predicting a rejection from a conversation she has never heard? Test before you conclude. Experiment before you retreat. Ask before you assume. The answer is no. It is not your job to say no for the person you are talking to. Allow the person to say no or yes. The market's actual response to your raised price, your bold launch, your vulnerable openness in a new relationship is almost always more generous than pessimism bias projects every single time. I used to think that people hate me. I used to think because of my disability, the way people look at me, they don't respect me. Until I found out that they were all in my head. The people that were looking at me pitiably, they never looked down on me. It is just me thinking or misinterpreting how they are looking at me. You will never know until you try. Until you move past the prediction and into the experiment, you will never know. Number two, build a personal track record document and consult it before pessimism speaks. Pessimism bias thrives in the absence of documented evidence. It fills the vacuum with worst case projections that feel credible because nothing contradicts them in the moment. It's all in your head. The antidote is a documented track record. I've consulted for all kinds of MDAs, all kinds of organized private sector, all kinds of high net worth individual, all kinds of. So because of this record, I now know. I've trained vice chancellors, rectors, provosts, professors. I've trained directors, PAMSEC, National Assembly members. I trained all kinds because of that documented track record. Whenever my pessimism comes, I say, hey, stop it. Okay? So write down every time you took a risk and it worked out better than you feared. Write it down. It helps you the next time. Every time you raise your standard and the right people rose to meet it, write it down. Every time you opened your heart and were met with genuine care, every time you launched something bold and the market responded with more generosity than your pessimism projected, write it down. Because of that, the next time pessimism bias walks in with his confident negative focus, you open that document and say, guy, look at it. Let evidence speak louder than projection, than that bias. Let your actual history correct your imagined future. Make sure your track record is in your head. Don't ever think it's boasting. Always know it is your stripes. It is your hero's mark. It is something you have invested in to come to where you are. Don't be ashamed to recognize that you are good at what you do. Number three, reframe failure as data. Don't reframe failure as destiny. Whenever you fail, the failure is telling you something you didn't do well so that you can do it better the next time. But you most times say, oh, this is my lot. Every time I fail in these things, I'm not very good at it. That's not true. One of the deepest roots of pessimism bias is the unconscious equation of past failure with future inevitability. Yeah? So the painful relationship becomes proof that all relationships end painfully. The failed business becomes proof that all ventures fail. The rejected proposal becomes proof that all proposals get rejected. This equation is false, but it feels true because the brain stores painful experience with such intensity that they begin to feel representative of reality rather than specific to that particular context. So it's your job as somebody who wants to become a billionaire, who wants to become wealthy, who wants to become very successful, to interrupt the equation deliberately. Interrupt that flow. When a past failure presents itself as evidence for a pessimistic prediction, ask yourself this question: was that outcome caused by factors specific to that situation or by factors that are inevitably present in all similar situations? And you will know that it is not true. Each situation is could be judged on its own right. No two situations are the same. Almost always, we think that is demonic attack, spirit of limitation, ancestral forces, reincarnative power. Almost always, the honest answer is that the failure has specific causes that are neither universal nor inevitable. So, the failure was data. It wasn't anything more. It was not your destiny. It was not demonic attack. It was not ancestral forces. It was not reincarnative powers. It was not the spirit of limitation. It has no automatic jurisdiction over what comes next unless you grant it that authority. So you must know this and deliver yourself from this religious shenanigan. So here is what pessimism bias has been silently stealing from you, and I need you to count the cost honestly, especially today. The proposal you never sent, yeah, because you were certain it will be rejected. That is a cost. The price you never charged because you were certain the market won't pay it. The cost you never launched because you thought nobody would buy it. The business you never launched because you were certain it will fail. The person you never opened to, you never approached because you were certain they would eventually leave. The dream you never pursued because you were certain you were not the kind of person those dreams happened for. Because for you, I am unlucky. Everything happens so wrongly to me. My own is that even when I drink water, it has to get stuck on my throat. None of these certainties, if you tell yourself the truth, were based on evidence. They were all in your head. Every single one of them was generated by a bias, a systematic neurological overestimation of negative probability. These are all dressed in the language of realism, realistic, and then called just being honest. And being honest, I don't want to deceive myself. But here's the truth, that pessimism bias has been working very hard to keep you from experiencing. The market is more generous than your fear projects the market as. People are more capable of genuine love than your wounds suggest. How do I know? I have been there. You are more resilient than your worst moments have convinced you. How do I know? I have been there. And the future, your future, unencumbered by the distorted weight of pessimistic prediction, is wider, is richer, is more enjoyable, there are more possibilities than the version your bias has been showing you. So, you have not failed everything you haven't tried. You have simply not tried it yet. And that voice in your head is what is disturbing you. Share this with every entrepreneur, every professional, and any person who has been living inside a prediction they never actually tested. Till I see you tomorrow, click the link below to train that brain that makes the money and train that mind that makes you rich. Click that link below and see you tomorrow.